Okay, so I pulled the motor and stuff out of the 74, tore it down, and we went with Robert Peak to a destroyed Suburban. I'll put pictures of that in here because the footage that I had, the memory card that was in the camera was broke and didn't record any of it. So all my motor tear down, it didn't record it. The stuff with Robert and pulling the barn doors off that old Suburban, lost everything. So I'm going to show you now what come out of my motor. This was a faulty casting that come from, I think these are Sealed Power or Speed Pro 1. I did some research on the number on them, and they were prone to crack and bust, and they were not rated above 6,000 RPM. And as soon as I put the motor together, I was turning her 72 every time I sat down in it. That's why it smoked so bad. That's why it had no compression on 3 cylinders. As you can see, it split and cracked in here and up through the ring lands, and 3 of them was broke, 5 of them was fine. Yeah, see, them was fine. The ring gaps is perfect. I had 25 thousandths ring gap on them. Checked all that. So they're just a crappy casting. See, just cracked and busted and blew apart. That's what come out of my motor, and now you're able to see all this where I put it all back together. But yeah, back to what I was saying earlier. Lost all the footage of where we pulled this motor out, tore it down. All the bearings were flawless, no scratches, nothing wrong with none of them. Mains, everything's fine. The only issue was them broke pistons. And this thing smoked since the day I put it together. So it's been running on 5 cylinders on good compression, and the other one only had, the other 3 only had about 60 psi, which is garbage. So it ran pretty good. Ran 747 is the fastest pass it made. 750 is what it usually runs at 90 mile an hour on 5 cylinders basically. So it ran pretty good. That's just crappy castings. After looking things up and put the part number on there, they were actually like forums talking about these pistons and them doing that same thing. So, but yeah, sucks you missed the pull out and the tear down of this motor, but it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. Just want to update everybody on what happened. Why there ain't been a video up is because I lost all the footage from the last weekend. So we're out in the Suburban. We come down here to get some gas, and the other day Colton outrun one of them WRXs or something with his Duramax because it's got 100 horsepower plus tune in it. Yeah. Runs pretty good. So what has he done? He's followed us down here to the gas station.
But the other morning I ripped a damn brand new Maserati.
Yeah, in the Skullburban.
And then he said, well, I think I can take Dad's Suburban. So we leave to get fuel, and he followed me down here. So I guess we should fix it and find out.
You know it's bad when you can't even go get no gas.
I come down here and he trolling me.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. And what
I said, I hear you wanting to roll that 100 tune on me. And he's like, I think I can take it. I guess he wants to go for my damn roll.
Yeah, you'll have to.
We'll just see.
He ought to outrun it.
He ought to outrun it, but I got extra doors and shit and everything. You see up the back there, I'm running extra weight. Yeah, we're all loaded down. So I'm at least, I'm right at damn 7,000. Yeah. Oh, it's about 6,200 empty, so that's.
I'm about 250. My toolbox is about 135.
I'm 320. Them doors about 100. There's 100 pound worth of tires and wheels, and my tools is about 70 pounds. So we're probably ain't no scales around me.
And I got a small block head in the floor.
Yeah. Have to go up here to them Skull dragway. What's the problem? What? You won't go to the spot?
Going up to the business part.
You got your cam pinned in and all that shit. Lift it up there. You won't go or not? Huh? You want some? I got extra weight in the back.
I weigh more than you.
Shit. I got at least 7,000 pounds. You got better tires and everything.
How big this thing is?
Huh?
Mine's lifted.
Now what? You got a 8-inch exhaust pipe.
So?
Yeah, and a tune. I ain't got nothing. I got a heater.
You got a 69mm turbo.
So, look how many cubic inches I got.
What?
Diesel versus gas. Let's go.
That's it. Diesel versus gas.
Let's go. You gonna toot the horn to me? I will start it. We'll start right there at the silver truck. Start. I got it. Ready?
Oh, I wasn't watching the finish line.
There you go.
Freight train. That thing was so loud coming past.
Stop it by.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
I thought I had. I've never matched that hard.
Well, see, Dad had to shift. When he shifts, she slows down. Oh, that's good. Well, all right. Go on, harass your WRXs. But check this out. Dad's got barn doors now.
Yeah, I didn't film none of it yesterday. I was telling you that I'd show you how this swap goes. And everybody's, oh, you have to cut all this out and all this shit right here has to come out. No. I just took those hinges off that big door, and that some bitch right there, they wasn't joking. That thing's probably 75 pounds heavier than these doors. Heavy.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it's got a filler panel that goes right in there. It just comes out with bolts. Take that filler panel out, put in your hinges, and bolt it up. It already had the holes right here, had plugs in it. Had the plugs in right here. And put it right on there, and you can see.
Oh wait, the latch. Show them the latch.
Well, I'm showing this first.
Oh, your toolbox.
You can see.
Yeah.
It butts right up. Look.
We had to shim. We put a shim back here.
Yeah, we just shimmed it, but look, it goes right up against the original rubber right there. It doesn't hit anything. It's supposed to have a latch. It goes right here for the other piece that you buy and put in here. Because this thing, we was gonna knock this thing out of the bed, out of that other truck, but it's all made in and welded, it's a pain in the ass. But everybody said you had to do a shitload of cutting to put these on there. But you don't, so we just put them on there to see. And then the latch, took out that filler piece up here, and it already had the holes, but it didn't have no threads in it. So Justin cut a piece out back here in the back, just stick her fingers through and put a bolt in there. I mean, put bolts through it and nuts, just like that right there.
Yep.
And this bad boy. Nothing, we ain't cut nothing. There we go. And it seals up on the bottom. You know, it ain't tight because it ain't new rubber. But I'm gonna put me another latch. I'm gonna put the other latches right here and bring them off this right here, and that dude'll latch just fine.
Which we drove home last night latched.
Yeah.
No issues.
So, I'm over here last night and I had to hold this door, and it slips out of my damn hand and went boom and went all the way back without the strap, the safety strap on it, and knocked it fucking dent in it. Right there, look at that.
Which we're gonna try to knock it out.
That fucker rolled back and went. I was like, I just did my damn door all day. I've protected that door all the way home, and I knocked the shoe ball in it right there.
Well, but we love them. They're cool.
But anyway, so that's a big myth. But if you go get a set, get your hinges, because you can't find the hinges. Get some with the hinges on, because they don't make them.
Get the hinges and locks and straps. Get everything.
Get the hinges. Find one. It's already everything's there. Just take it all off.
Aha. And we're fixing to put a lock in it too. Ah, beautiful.
Yes, I mean, they're fine.
So, huge shout out Robert Peak.
Yeah, thank you, Robert.
There they are.
Thank you, brother. Got them on there. All good.
Off that completely destroyed Suburban.
You just come here and open your damn open up office and go to work, man. That's how you do it. You just walk in with shit. You ain't 2 foot back here. I'm all about it. Ooh, shit.
It has that 70s drag car like at the racetrack feel.
It's just like they went to the racetrack, man. They used to pull funny cars and shit like this and then get up here and work. Yeah.
Got all the cylinders home. Nice. Grab your finger. Kind of like sandpaper. That's the way I do them. They grab. Hear it? Got one of these for my cam so that I can advance and retard the cam. I've got the cam retarded 8 degrees. So this will be right there's where it lines up. See, -8 retards the cam. When you retard the cam, moves your power band higher up, which gives your intake valve closing point a longer intake valve closing point, which allows more cylinder pressure to bleed off, which allows you to run more boost. So my cam is a 60-degree intake valve closing point. With this, it makes it a 68-degree intake valve closing point. And the duration stays the same. It just moves the power band from this cam is a 2006 solid roller. It's going to be 25 to 65 now. All by advancing and retarding the camshaft. You retard it, gives you more top end. You advance it, gives you more bottom end. So I just needed to bleed off cylinder pressure. So that's what I'm using it for. And this timing chain set is a billet. It's usually these things are like 90 bucks or 60 bucks depending. But Speedmaster makes this. Found this on eBay. It's a 9-way adjustable. Where's the part number? There's the part number. Completely adjustable. 9-way adjustable. Comes with your travel limiter for the camshaft. Chain. And this thing right here is killer. It's got a bearing on the back. So this one was only $39, which is still expensive, but a regular timing chain's 30 bucks anyway. So I highly recommend this one. That's cool. Colton got one too for his motor, but it has all this, which is what's important. Patented ring gapper. See right there. It's got a preset speed on it.
Zip tie.
Yeah. See, that's our speed adjustment.
Yep.
Buy the cheap one, put a drill on it, go to town.
Yep.
Got the rings in. They're already at 17. They come out of it like that out of the package. I'm going to go 30 top and 30 second ring. That'll be plenty for 10 pounds. It'll be good for up to 18 pounds of boost, but I'm only going to run 8 and 10. And I'll show you my piston stuff. I bought all new stuff, which I've never done in my life. $400 worth of stuff. But it's nice today. It's about, what, 57 degrees?
It's about 57 degrees. We thrashing, having a good time. Building a motor, working on Suburban. We got plans for the 57. We got plans to put together.
We're going to take a tranny and throw it in the 57.
Yep.
Fix the trans brake button.
I'm going to change it right there on that truck.
Yeah, set right there.
Got me flex plate, got me S10 flex plate.
S10.
Thanks, Skip White.
Yep.
Skip White, if you need something, call me.
Yeah, that's right.
A good bunch of people.
Yep.
What's the number?
I don't know the number. I just know John and Kenny.
Skip White.
I just know John and Kenny. Talk to John and Kenny. They'll hook you up. Kingsport, Tennessee.
Kingsport, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Skip White.
Good old country folks.
Hats off to them. They good boy.
Bye.
Good bunch of people.
Yeah, so gapping these, we'll gap them to 30. And that should be good. The oil ring will be a minimum of 15 thousandths. This will be gapped to 30. I did the ones on Colton's S10 at 35, and that was good for up to 30 pounds of boost. So these will be good. And I'm gapping them a little more because I got hypertectic pistons, and they don't expand as much as a forged piston does, but they are built for tighter clearances on your pistons and stuff on your cylinder walls. They're built to take up that gap. So gap rings, folks, gap them. After you gap them, take your file, knock the burrs off of it. Otherwise, it won't fit in the piston good. There you go. There's one done. And I'm doing them per cylinder. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. That way the rings are fitted to the cylinders. Just run them down a little ways, check them. It took about 30 minutes, but I got all the top rings gapped. Run them down, everything looks good. So, now for the second ring. Alright, these are my new pistons. They are hypertectic, 16 to 18% silicone, Summit Racing dish, 17.80 cc with a 1.44 deck height, or compression height. These are my I-beam rods. As you can see, I've weighted everything and balanced everything. The whole new rotating assembly is it's about 1 gram lighter than the rotating stuff that I took off. The other pits, see, I've weighed everything, every rod, every piston and matched everything. This is all my specs for the compression and cam stuff and static and effective. 4,000 head gasket and static compression with a 40,000 is 9.33 to 1, with a 16 and a 40,000 is 9.03 to 1. So I didn't make up my mind whether to run the 9.3, which I'll probably run the 9.3 and keep my boost at 10, because at 10 psi the effective is going to be 11.59 and the dynamic will be 7.33, and the effective without boost will be 6.90. So you want to keep it about 7 for your effective compressor ratio without boost. So here's all my cam stuff and installed heights with the 130 pounds at 1.850 installed height. It'll be 170 closed pressure at 1.75. That's the installed height for my springs. This is the math to do it. I could explain all that to you, but you probably don't want to hear me go on and on about how to calculate your installed heights and whatever and come up with your spring pressures. So I won't do that, but this whole setup should work 100 times better than the other one. The other one I was just making do with what I had, using the pistons and the compression ratio that I already had and making everything work with it. But this is a purpose built one. This is going to be purposely built for boost. So it's going to be the cam that's going in. It is. I was going to put a big roller cam in it, but this is not. This is a short duration 224 on a 525 run a 1/6 ratio rocker, be a 560 on a 224 power bands 2000 to 6. It's going to be 25 to 65 because I'm retarding the cam, so it'll be perfect for boost. That 110 lobe separation will help keep the cylinder pressure in, and I don't have a big enough turbine, a big enough exhaust side on the turbo to run a tighter lobe separation cam. The bigger your turbine is, the tighter the lobe separation you can run on the cam. But with a smaller turbo, you need to run one that's got a little bit wider lobe separation on it. Instead of the 106, this has got a 110. You could run a 112 or a 114 or a 116, but 110 seems to be the sweet spot. So that's what I'm running, and that's what I have already. Cam come from, well, the cam that's in it come from Mike White. It was laying on the floor rusted. He picked it up and cleaned it off on his, put it in the machine and spun it around and cleaned it off with a piece of Scotch-Brite and said, there you go, Justin, take that with you. So there it is. I'm putting it to use. Finally, I've been waiting for the right combination to use that cam with. And I didn't want to buy pistons before and tear the whole motor out and everything else, but now I was forced to, so I'm doing it the way I should have done it to begin with. I'm going to weld bungs and the oil pan for drain backs, using 5/8 line instead of the 3/8 that I had before. It's going to be much, much better. This thing is going to be spunky, and I'll be able to run my 10 pounds of boost instead of like 7. And that's still on pump gas. I can go as far as 15 pounds of boost if I put like 110 in it, but that'll be perfectly safe, whole setup. So sweet. Put all my paper up, and I'll show y'all more of this cam stuff when I'm putting the heads together and everything. There you go. Try to put the rings on them and drop them in. Also went with better bearings, a race style bearing instead of the cheap replacements. Handle more load. Got all my new bearings in. These are coated. Makes them a little bit better. And check the clearances on everything, which clearances should be fine, but I'm gonna check them anyway, and then everything's ready to go in now. All that assembly and clearancing and checking and making sure everything's right, and it'll all pay off later on. Just takes time. Still, don't take that long. All right, we got 2 pistons in, 2 pistons and rods. Using a new torque wrench, Colton bought this to do his new race motor. Had to get used to it. It's very accurate. It's within the same as our old I-beam one.
The good old beam, baby.
Yeah. When in doubt, we tested with one of these. So all that technology still go back to what you know.
You would think that some of it would be wore out by now and not do nothing.
As long as it's never been dropped or bent, they'll keep it.
Dug it out of the trash.
Yeah.
It was thrown away.
Because everybody was going to the new clicky style ones back in.
Yeah.
There we go. They're all in there. Finally. My God, that took forever.
There's a better ring squeezer.
Yeah, we got 2, and they're garbage. A good ring compressor is hard to come by. Alright. My line and my dial indicator both indicate that's the highest point. So she zeroed out for how long it stays in degree. So that's all the way top dead right there. Alright. Well, setting the camshaft in play, and this takes forever because you got to try this one, this one, this one. Where's the other one? I got a bunch of them. Bunch of different ones to try to get this right. And the in play is with the timing cover on. This right here comes out and bumps the amount of play between there and the timing cover, so it don't come all the way up and your lifters hit the lobes. Alright, I'm going to show you. There we go. Stick that down in there so you can move it. Alright, well, the bottom end of stuff's together, the cam's in, the timing chains, all that stuff's on it. Have to finish it up later. I got to get some more stuff. Got to get gaskets for the oil pan and timing cover and intake gasket. But yeah, all the big stuff's done.
Very good day.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. But alright, we're calling it. We're wrapping things up, and I'll finish this up probably next weekend. Or maybe this week sometime, I don't know, just depends. I didn't get to see your doors after you touched them up. Yeah, you got rid of the rust. You got rid of the rust. Yeah, there they are.
Take that damn thing off there.
Woo!
And that cleaned up. Not done yet, but a few more adjustments, one more adjustment.
Alright.
It's getting there. It's like that. Bam, there it is.
Let me get in here and get some stuff. Ah.
Yeah, look here. Get them roasted. I see them. Love it.
Too cool. Alright, well that's a wrap. Until next time.
Woo! Real gift, baby.
That's it.
I'm gonna shoot my fucking finger in there. Boy, you better watch that. Boy, that Simmy's back got me right there. He got it, but not good. Yeah, don't do that. Don't put your hand right there. We gotta watch you fuck up. I've shut them all day. Turn the camera on, I smashed my damn finger.
You said it real as it gets.
Boy, yeah, Rose, he got it right there, man. I won't do that shit again.
Nope, nope.
Live and learn.
Alright, well that's a wrap. But alright, now I've got to, my balancer is twisted. This section is twisted from that section, and it's not reading zero the way it's supposed to. Alright, what I did is I made a mechanical stop, rotated it around till it stopped, put a mark, rotate it back around till it stopped again, put another mark, took that, divided it by 2. It was like 930. So this is in between those 2 points. This is my exact top dead center. So take that off. So this was off probably a degree, 1 or 2 degrees. So rotate all around. Alright, it is dead on zero, check, tested, and 100% true. So that's awesome. Alright, now flip it over and put the oil pump on it. Alright, went ahead and drilled one side of this and welded it in with a little welder. This is 5/8 ID now. No more 3/8 tiny stuff. 5/8 is like minimum what you should run for drain back. So I have one on that side, one on the other side. Use 5/8 ID tubing, go up to my turbos. Should drain back. I'm going there and grind that down a little bit, but
you see the idea.
Yeah, Colton's will be done the same way. I just wanted to go ahead and do one so I know that would work, and the welder was going to weld, and everything was good. So, sweet. Alright, cool. Alright, back here working on Cody's S10 again. It is a beautiful day. It's like 60 degrees. And got the tack wired. Let's see if we got power going to it. Sweet. Now I just got to run it to the MSD box and then do a compression test. Well, no, I do the horn, then do a compression test, and that'll dictate whether he needs to run race fuel or not, and then just carburetor and check a timing. Whee! Lots of fun, huh? She ain't got nothing to do right now. Alright, tack works, power on, tack, and lights up. Turn all that off, and then got the horn wired in. So that's all working now. You can get it inspected and it'll pass. Alright, so now we're going to pull all the plugs out. Pull the breather off, open the carburetor wide open, and do a compression test. See what kind of crank compression this thing's got. Anything above 200 requires race fuel. So, all right, Carlos pulling the plug wires off, and this one is gone, burnt to a crisp, and been arcing. So if you've had a little bit of misfire, that's why. All right, Carly got the plug out of number 1. Timing was a little too far advanced, and this is a plug for a cast iron head, not aluminum head. Aluminum heads require a 0.75 reach. This is a 480 reach. If I can get this thing to focus, you can see on the plug, too much timing. And then this number 4 cylinder wasn't firing hardly. I got the compression tester in. Carl's going to spin the motor over. Let me hold the throttle open. Keep spinning. Well, that's 150, 55, 60, 65, 170. Pretty far cry from 200 though. So, she got good compression. Alright, so number 4 cylinder didn't look like it was burning at all. Did a compression test on number 4 cylinder. And go ahead and spin it over again. I mean, nothing. And the coolant's not sloshy or milky or nothing like that. Wonder if there's any coolant in the oil. No. Alright, spin it over. That's 165.
Which one was that?
Number 2. So now I'll check if I can get to number 6 and number 8. I'll check them.
You probably won't be able to get that thing in the face.
Maybe not. All right. Number 2 was about 165. Number 6 is 170, and number 8 I can't get in there to test, but I'm sure it's fine. Plug looked fine. Over here, all these are all good. So you got 1 dead cylinder. So that sucks. I'm gonna pull your valve cover and look and see if I can figure out maybe something's broke. I don't know. But all right, pull the valve cover off and look at this. It looks like maybe it's pulled the threads out of the stud, of the head stud, because look at this. Shouldn't do that. But I mean, this thing's got nice stuff in it. Stud girdles. Them's roller valve springs again. It's a solid roller cam, guarantee it. See the diameter of the spring, how thick? Solid roller. Because it can't open the intake valve to pull air in, so it can't have nothing to compress. All right, we'll pull them stud girdles off and look. And one of the bed's got a broke stud. That's good. That's really good.
It's not a piece.
So yeah, it's so all right. Right there is your problem. That's why you got no compression on number 4. It's broke. Studs broke off.
Yep.
See her? But yeah, there's his issue. I was able to work the broke off stud piece out with a screwdriver. But these poly locks don't have a jam nut on the top of them. So it uses the stud girdle to hold them in place, to keep them set. So what probably happened is whoever put it back on didn't tighten it all the way, and it come loose a little bit and the lash got crazy and it broke the stud. So that's probably what happened. Alright, well, we just got back out here to Cody's. Just pulled the old stud out. I got him a new one out of my stash. Gonna put some sealer on that and drop it down in there and then fix all this. Alright, got the stud put in, torqued. Alright, I'm gonna set your lash at we'll say 25 or 26, probably 26. Actually, I'll probably go 24 cold, and then when it heats up, it'll be 26. But these being set at 30 is way, way, way loose. So we'll do that. And stud girdle plate is torqued to 35 foot-pounds. So should be good. Move on to the next side. Alright, got the passenger side lash set and everything torqued down and everything's good to go. Pull the valve cover off the driver's side. We'll do it next. Alright, set all these stud girdle hold down thing back on it and torque it down. Alright, here's a new plug guard boot. So you'll run her down in there. And here's a sleeve to go on it until he gets one. Fired up, got my time set about 34, 35 degrees. Put a timing tape on it for him so now you can actually see what's going on. Just carburetor, and then she should be good. I got to adjust the secondary float. It's super low. It's not getting much fuel back there, but go ahead and try to spin it over with it, like start it. There we go, over here Cody's. If y'all don't know, this is Cody. Oh, yeah. And this is S10 been working on. So we're going to take it up road. He wants me to drive it, so I'll give it a shot. Normally I wouldn't. I just we
It's
had
just
this
me,
thing
I don't
where,
care.
where I usually won't drive nobody else's stuff.
I don't care.
All right, so Cody was absolutely ecstatic with it. The shifter in this truck's one of them ratchet style shifters, not like with a lockout, so it's kind of hard to get used to. And he wanted me to drive it, and usually I will not drive nobody's stuff, but I drove it because that's what he wanted. See, it's one of them kind of shifters in there. They're quirky. The carburetor on this thing is a 650. Carb's way too small. That's why you got that little bit of hiccup coming out of the hole with it. I could probably try to tune it out, but he wants to put a bigger carb anyway, and that's what it needs. It needs something bigger. But cruises like a dream, 2,000 RPM. It's awesome. You drop her down. The passes that he made the other day when I was over here versus what it does now, this truck will literally spin as far as you stand in it. It wants to get a little crooked on you. The S10's is lighting over here. Cody is absolutely tickled, man. And that's the first time I ever drove anybody around in their vehicle, so that was cool. And so that's awesome. He said you'll probably see this one at the track. Ain't that right, Cody? You probably see it at the track sometime. Oh, but he seemed pumped up. She's all set. I got to stick the breather back on it before I go. That way it's carburetor's nice and covered up. But call that a wrap. You happy?
I'm tickled.
So hopefully we'll see him at the track sometime. But it's done. There's nothing else I can do to that truck. Lights work, engine's tuned, horn works. He's ready to go get it inspected and put on the street and get out and enjoy it. So there you go. That's a wrap.